Video has surfaced of a skirmish in a disputed region on the India-China border. The clip appears to show a previously unreported clash between Indian and Chinese troops in September 2021.
Have you ever wondered how two of the world's most populous nations found themselves locked in a relentless territorial tug-of-war? What's the real story behind the skirmishes in the Himalayas? And what's at stake for these Asian powerhouses? In this video, we're going to explore one of the most complex geopolitical conflicts of our time, India versus China, the territory dispute. It's a tale of two giants, a clash of nations over borders, a saga shrouded in mystery. Two of the world's most populous and powerful nations, locked in a territorial dispute that has simmered for decades. On the one side, India, with its rich history and culture, its vibrant democracy, and its growing economy. On the other side, China, with its authoritarian government, its rapidly developing military, and its ambitions to become the world's leading superpower. Border Dispute Overview. India expressed a firm objection to China regarding a recent map that asserts ownership of land India considers its own. This latest dispute between the two Asian countries arises from their ongoing border disagreement. The primary source of the issue lies in a contested border that spans a vast 3,440 kilometers, approximately 2,100 miles, and its boundaries are inadequately defined. Due to the presence of rivers, lakes, and the dynamic nature of snowcaps along this border, the demarcation line can shift over time, leading to encounters between soldiers at numerous locations and subsequently igniting confrontations. Additionally, the two nations are in competition to develop infrastructure along this border, commonly referred to as the line of actual control. One of the principal catalysts for a fatal clash between Indian and Chinese troops in 2020 was India's construction of a new road leading to a high-altitude airbase. India's protest and China's claims. New Delhi officially registered its protest on Tuesday in response to reports within the Indian media, which indicated that Beijing had issued an official standard map designating the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh and the Aksai Chin Plateau as Chinese territory. India's Foreign Ministry spokesman Arindam Bagchi stated on Tuesday that they had officially protested through diplomatic channels against China's 2023 standard map. This map claimed territories belonging to India, a move that India vehemently rejects, citing a lack of basis for such claims. Bagchi emphasized that these actions by China only serve to further complicate the resolution of their ongoing border dispute. According to New Delhi, two specific regions indicated on a map published by China's state-owned Global Times newspaper rightfully belong to India. The first is Arunachal Pradesh, situated in northeastern India, a territory that China contends is part of Tibet, where both nations engaged in a significant border conflict in 1962. The second is Aksai Chin, a strategically vital high-altitude corridor linking Tibet to western China. Territorial claims and recent history. China asserts that Arunachal Pradesh, located in the eastern Himalayas, falls under the jurisdiction of southern Tibet. In April, China published a map redesignating 11 locations within the state as part of Zhangnan, or southern Tibet in Chinese. On the other hand, Aksai Chin, a plateau situated in the western Himalayas, is claimed by India but currently administered by China. Earlier on Tuesday, India's Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar rejected China's territorial assertions. Jaishankar, speaking to the news channel NDTV, emphasized that asserting baseless claims over Indian territory does not transform it into Chinese territory. Relations between these two Asian nations soured following a confrontation between their troops in the Himalayas in June 2020, which tragically led to the loss of 20 Indian soldiers and 4 Chinese soldiers. Although the situation along the extensive China-India border has remained relatively tranquil since the 2020 clashes, there are still ongoing standoffs in a few isolated areas. In these regions, tens of thousands of soldiers from both sides are deployed along the Line of Actual Control or LAC in the western Himalayas, which serves as the dividing line between the two nations. New Delhi's objection to the map follows Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent conversation with China's President Xi Jinping during the BRICS summit in Johannesburg. During the meeting, Modi raised concerns regarding the disputed Himalayan frontier. Beijing characterized the meeting as a frank and extensive discussion, while India emphasized that Prime Minister Modi emphasized the importance of observing and respecting the line of actual control or LAC. Additionally, Modi's administration has allocated substantial financial resources to enhance connectivity initiatives within its border regions. This initiative aims to bolster civilian presence and establish new paramilitary battalions. Recent clashes and ongoing standoffs. Despite high-level military discussions, tensions persist. In December 2022, troops clashed for the first time in over a year, specifically in the vicinity of the Tawang sector in Arunachal Pradesh, the easternmost part of India. During this incident, some soldiers sustained minor injuries. Efforts to de-escalate the situation have been ongoing since a significant clash in June 2020, known as the Galwan Valley Battle, which was marked by confrontations involving sticks and clubs rather than firearms. This skirmish resulted in the first fatal confrontation between the two sides since 1975, leading to the tragic deaths of at least 20 Indian soldiers and 4 Chinese soldiers. Another face-off occurred in January 2021, resulting in injuries to troops from both sides. This incident took place near India's Sikkim state, situated between Bhutan and Nepal. In September 2021, China alleged that India had discharged gunfire at its troops, while India countered by claiming that China had fired warning shots into the air. If these allegations hold true, it would mark the first instance in 45 years of live ammunition being discharged along the border. An agreement reached in 1996 had expressly prohibited the use of firearms and explosives in proximity to the border. During the same month, both nations reached an accord to disengage from a contested area along the western Himalayan border. These two nations have engaged in a single conflict, which occurred in 1962 and resulted in a significant and embarrassing defeat for India. Nonetheless, the persistent tensions carry the potential for escalation, and this could be catastrophic considering that both countries possess well-established nuclear capabilities. Furthermore, any escalation could lead to adverse economic consequences, given that China stands as one of India's largest trading partners. Diplomatic relations and high-level talks. The ongoing military standoff is paralleled by escalating political friction, which has placed significant strain on the relationship between Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Observing the situation, analysts emphasize that dialogue is the most viable path forward as both nations have much to lose in the event of further conflict. Clashes along the line of actual control or LAC have become a distressingly frequent occurrence in recent years, and the current trajectory of Sino-Indian relations provides little optimism for improvement. Instead of disengaging, both sides appear to be fortifying their positions near the border. New Delhi's foreign policy has evolved to adopt a more assertive stance in criticizing Beijing, while Beijing has grown increasingly unyielding in its approach. Despite these escalating tensions, there are still opportunities for Washington to play a role in de-escalating the situation along Sino-Indian border. Firstly, Washington can and should express its support for New Delhi, but this support must be delivered in a manner that does not exacerbate the already tense situation. A balanced response entails opposing any unilateral attempts by either side to alter the territorial status quo and endorsing India's efforts toward de-escalation. Providing steady and confident support, particularly during crisis, will help strengthen trust and credibility in the US-India partnership. Secondly, the United States can share crucial information and intelligence regarding Chinese activities in border regions, along with equipment to enhance India's own intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities. The United States already extended such support during the December 2022 border clash in Arunachal Pradesh, where intelligence aid enabled India to better prepare for Chinese incursions. Lessons from this incident can serve as a model for future cooperation. Moreover, material commitments can be reinforced through collaborative intelligence reviews, where analysts from both nations engage in discussions concerning the activities and intentions of the Chinese People's Liberation Army or PLA along the border. These actions from Washington would effectively and resolutely support New Delhi without escalating the conflict or conflating it with ongoing tensions in its relationship with China. Challenges and risks. Unfortunately, the status quo is likely to persist along the contested border in 2023. Structural challenges in China-India relations are unlikely to dissipate soon, leaving ample room for future clashes. While military talks between Beijing and New Delhi are expected to continue, potentially preventing unnecessary escalation, they are unlikely to yield agreements for substantial disengagement. Moreover, in the event of an incident escalating into a crisis, there's a risk of large numbers of nearby forces becoming embroiled in conflict, a grim possibility that cannot be disregarded. But ultimately, the future of the India-China territorial dispute is uncertain. It is up to the leaders of India and China to decide whether they want to resolve the dispute peacefully or through force. We hope that this video has helped you to understand the India-China territorial dispute better. If you like this video, click the next one shown on the screen. I'm sure you'll like it. Thanks for watching.